Hello. Hello. How are you today? Won't you be my neighbor? I'm just kidding, guys. Okay, guys. I've had a special request from somebody. And I'm going to show you guys how to put eyeshadow on almond eyes. Okay, so I already have my foundation on. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that. The hard part is over. So, but I do want to caution you that I am in a weird mood today. Okay, so we are going to do almond eyes, which is really, which is a very common, request that I get from people, because it's a hooded eye. Okay, so if you're like, what is an almond eye? Like, what is it? So an almond eye is basically like a hooded eye right in here. Okay, so there's so many things that you can do to help with it. And so make sure you stay right meow. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to recommend is to prime. Now, when I say almond eye, I'm also saying in the spectrum of Asian eyes as well. They struggle with hooded eyes, especially. Theirs is like a severe hooded eye. Okay, so the first thing that I recommend is to prime your lid. Okay, that's going to be the biggest thing. Okay, especially if you are wrinkly like I am. Okay, wrinkly. And then I just go in and I just pat that out just to make sure it's nice and flat. Okay, so when we're talking about Asian eyes, hooded eyes, all that fun stuff, what we have to remember is that my husband did not give me all of my brushes. Like, come on now. He didn't give me all my brushes. Okay, so the one thing that we have to keep in mind here is, oh, thank you so much, Mr. Spink. Mr. Spink. Okay, so we have this brush. We can work with this brush. Okay, so the first thing you want to remember is you want like a flush color. Okay, so everybody's initial color is going to be different. So this is sort of like a really good palette, and we're going to utilize all of it. So I love this color because it's a very flesh tone. Okay, so anybody can really pull off this lighter color. Okay, so it's more of a fleshy tone. And so the reason why I suggest applying this first is because it gives you a fresh palette and it allows for there to be some sort of color down right away. Okay, and so what you want to do is you want to take like a fluffier brush, sort of like this. I would prefer right now a different brush. However, my husband has decided that these brushes that I had aren't important. Okay, so we're gonna take, so this was the first color. You want a flesh type color, nude color. And then you want more of a brownish color. So when we're dealing with more of an Asian eye, more of a hooded eye, and this is hooded, obviously, but more of the Asian, it hangs a lot farther down. So what I suggest is never to apply your makeup with your eye like this, because it's not going to look right. Okay, so what you need to do is we have to create symmetry, and so we have to get our shadow above that line. Okay, so how you do it is by keeping that eye open and creating that line little by little. Okay, so don't get brush happy here. So you're gonna see how How? Okay, so do you see how I created that line right in there? Okay, so when we're talking about hooded eyes, Asian eyes, that kind of thing, you want to stick with matte colors, especially out here. Now, I am going to show you how you can add a little bit of shimmer if you want to, but you really should stay in the matte, brown, neutral colors. Now, you can get into some of the fancier things, which, you know, I'll show you where you can apply those. But do you see how I'm just lightly, hi Jamie, how I'm just slightly adding it? And then I'm going to take my brush and I'm just going to apply it to the side right in here, okay? So again, hooded eyes is when you have that saggy skin, those bat flaps on your eyelid, on your eye face, right? The little bat flaps. Okay, but we also have hooded eyes as in like the Asian eyes, that kind of thing. Okay, so that's why we have to create this symmetry right in here. And that's why this fluffy brush is great. And you can just slowly add it to the lid. And that's why I say stick with a flesh color up in here, because that's what's going to help. Hey, Barbara. Okay, so because I have a fluffy brush, I'm just blending that out, okay? Because I don't want it to look super choppy, okay? My husband's talking to my daughter about mealtime. Okay, so I prefer an angled brush for the next part. Okay, so again, we're staying in the brown colors. And you don't need a lot of brown, okay? You don't need a lot. Okay? So let me make sure I have some on there. Okay, yes I do. Okay, so I'm taking this angled brush here, and all I'm going to do is just, I'm going to start on the side here, okay? And that's all I'm going to do. And then I'm going to turn it sideways. Okay? And you guys are going to see kind of what I'm doing here in just a minute. But I'm kind of just going right where that eye starts. Okay, where my, I guess you would call it the pupil, I guess. Hi, Mary. Okay, so as you can start to see, now, a lot of women come to me and they're like, how do I do a chicken wing? How do I do a chicken wing? And I call wings, you know, like when your liner's winged. I personally do not think that cat wings, chicken wings look good on hooded eyes. I don't think they do. It does take a lot of practice. You can, but I don't feel like they look right. Okay, so I'm just going to go in and I'm going to start to blend a little bit. Okay. Now, here's a really great tip. And this is going to help you kind of have like a point if you don't want to use tape. So what I like to do is I like to take my concealer and I go up like this. Okay. And you're going to see here in just a second why I do this. And I make sure that I'm almost hitting my eyebrow. Okay? So it gives me a point to where I shouldn't be leaving. Okay? So when you have a hooded eye, well, anybody, but mostly hooded eyes, you have to pull that face up, right? So you want it to be shooting up, okay? Because if you do not, it's going to pull your face down. And the application is everything when it comes to hooded eyes, okay? It is everything. everything. Okay. It's everything. So this is really great for just like an everyday look. Just throwing it on. Okay. So again, I'm staying in where that concealer is as my point. And I'm just taking it and I'm just basically dragging it. Okay, and then I just take a little bit of it, whatever's left there, and I'm applying it to that portion that goes, that line right in there, okay? Okay, so we've got that on there. And you guys are gonna see by the end kind of what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, Willis. So I'm just going to take this brush again, this fluffier brush, and I'm just kind of like a windshield wiper, right? Just like a windshield wiper. Okay. Now, since we're doing like an everyday kind of look here, we want to stick with kind of like everyday colors, right? So we're going to go back into this flesh color. Okay, and all we're gonna do is just apply a little bit, and don't be worried, we're gonna blend it in. We're gonna blend it in, okay? Excuse me, the hiccup's really bad today. I didn't get to eat very much. I swear my son is like cluster feeding like crazy. Like crazy. So I'm gonna take this brush again. Okay, and I'm just going to pat that in, but I'm going to go back in with that brown color, and I'm just going to pat it in so they blend, okay? Just so they blend. And then I'm going to go back in here, and I'm just going to blend it out, okay? So with hooded eyes, you just kind of want to stay in that zone. Now, one of the biggest things that women struggle with hooded eyes is that they smudge. They have smudge on their lid. So one of the things that I like to do, especially for hooded eyes, is I don't go all the way across my lid, okay? So I don't go all the way across. And I'm going to sharpen this, and you're going to want to watch this, because if you struggle with hooded eyes, liner is not your friend. I'm just going to be honest. Okay. Now, this is smudge proof and water resistant. So if you struggle with, you know, your eyes watering, that kind of thing, it goes smooth like butter on my hand, right? It's like smooth like butter. Okay, so your biggest thing is that you want to get as close to the lid as you, or the lash line as you can. So what I like to do first is I like to take like this little angled brush right in here. Okay. And I don't recommend, I don't recommend pulling at your lid, but we're going to do that. So all I'm doing is I'm just taking it and I'm applying as close to the lid, the lash line, I didn't mean to say lid, sorry, as I can. Okay, so I just did that, but just be patient with me here. So what I'm gonna do as well is I'm going to drag it. Oh, my daughter's crying now. I'm going to drag it into that corner. Now, I'm not done, obviously. I'm taking this brown brush again. And I'm just, and this is a great way to kind of make like a smoky look to your lid. And I'm not done. So you want to take like a smaller, oh, I just washed this, so it was like funky. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just brushing it out. Okay. Now, this is where it gets really good because you're going to tight line underneath your eye. And you guys are going to think I'm gross, but tight lining is when you're going underneath here. Okay. This is the cat's meow right in here, okay? I have to look closer into the mirror. Otherwise, I will screw up. Okay? So I went underneath. I went underneath there, okay? So what I suggest, now if you don't like brown, you can go in with this black. And you can use actually black shadow as liner if you prefer black. That's why I put it in this palette. So I just take some setting spray on my angled brush. And you can do black, okay? So I just lightly applied it. You can go darker if you want. Sorry guys, I'm blind as a bat. I'm a blind person. They might as well just tell me I'm legally blind here. I told my husband I want to get LASIK this year. He's like, do it. I'm like, I think I might. Okay, so do you see how just that black, and it doesn't have to be bold, doesn't have to be super dark, how it just kind of gives that color. So I'm going to do it on the other side. And I'm just using black. That's why I like versatile palettes, because you can change things, right? So I'm going to just take that side angle brush again with the brown in it. And I'm just going to kind of blend it in to that black that I just put on there, okay? So a lot of times hooded eyes can't do smoky looks, but if you do it kind of like this and you're sticking with that brown color, you're really not going to have a big issue. So what I suggest, because hooded eye individuals struggle with looking squinty, right? We don't want to look squinty, do we? Well, I don't want to look squinty. Maybe you want to look squinty, but I don't want to look squinty. So what I suggest is getting a black and nude liner. Okay, so why do I say black and nude? Nude actually opens up your eyes, okay? So if you have a smoky look, I can hear my daughter upstairs. This actually opens up your eye. Sorry, you guys are like gross. So nude actually opens up your eye, so it doesn't look squinty. I did forget to tight line on this side, so you guys didn't remind me. Okay, so I'm gonna take this here and and there's gonna be a really good trick on lashes when it comes to hooded eyes, so make sure you stay. Now, if you want to, you can go in and you could do liner down in here if you wanted to. However, I would be very ginger with it, okay? Very, very ginger and very light with the application, okay? Because you don't want it to be like, brown. Okay, and so I'm just going to go in with that brush that already has brown in it, right? And you can have kind of a smokier look down there. But I always recommend using that nude there. You can always use this nude in the corner of your eye too, which I like. I love that. I love this pencil. Like, I can use it for shadow. I can use it for brows. I use it for everything. Okay. So when it comes to mascara with hooded eyes, we struggle with, what's the word I want to say? We struggle with mostly hooded eye people, your lashes go straight out. Especially Asian eyes, your lashes are going to go like that, straight out. So you have to curl them at least. Okay, so you want to curl them. You want to torture your eyes. Okay. And then the trick with hooded eyes, Asian eyes, all those eyes, is you're going to want to look down. Now, normally I would not tell you to look down, but with this, I'm going to tell you to look down. Okay. So what I like to do is I like to hold my mirror like this, and I actually look down, and I go through the lashes. Now, why do I do this? Because if you have hooded eyes, chances are you're going to get it on your lid. So if you're looking down, it's not going to be as much. You know what I mean? Your chances are slim. Okay? So I'm going to go here. And we're going to look down again. Okay. So do you guys see that? Now, after I get that on, then I can go in, because it's already dry, and all I'm going to work on is my ends. Now, you can use waterproof if you want to, but I like this one. I only use waterproof in the summertime because I sweat, but also because I struggle with allergies in the summertime. Right? Right. Righto. Okay. Now you could do a couple more layers if you want to. It's totally up to you. So I'm just pulling this out again. Now, they do recommend with hooded eyes that you do use lashes, like fake lashes. And I do wear them occasionally. However, I ain't got time for that. Who has time for that right now? Right? Right? Okay, so, and then what I recommend afterwards is make sure you spray your face, guys. Make sure you spray your face because you want it to stay in place. You've just spent all of this work, right? You want your face to stay. So that is how I apply my shadow as a hooded eye person. It's very easy. I know you're like, oh my gosh, but I do have a step-by-step guide. So if you do need that, shoot me a message for free. So have a great Monday, guys. Happy Makeup Monday.